So today we're going to read How Chipmunk Got His Stripes by Joseph Bruchac and James Bruchac. And the pictures were drawn by Jose Arugo and Ariane Dewey. And sharing our story with us, we have two baby gray squirrels. How Chipmunk Got His Stripes. One autumn day long ago, Bear was out walking. As he walked, he began to brag. "I am Bear. I am the biggest of all the animals. Yes, I am. I am Bear. I am the strongest of all the animals. Yes, I am. I am Bear. I am the loudest of all the animals. Yes, I am. I am Bear. I am Bear. I can do anything. Yes, I can." As soon as Bear said those words, a little voice spoke up from the ground. "Can you really do anything?" Bear looked down. He saw a little brown squirrel standing on his hind legs. "Can you really do anything?" Brown Squirrel asked again. Bear stood very tall. "I am Bear. I can do anything. Yes, I can." "Can you tell the sun not to rise tomorrow morning?" Brown Squirrel asked. "I have never tried that before, but I am Bear. I can do that. Yes, I can." Bear turned west to face the sun. It was the time when the sun always goes down. Bear stood up to his full height and spoke in a loud voice. "Sun, do not come up tomorrow." At his words, the sun began to disappear behind the hills. "You see," Bear said, "Sun is afraid of me. He is running away." "But will the sun come up tomorrow?" Brown Squirrel asked. "No," Bear answered, "the sun will not come up." The bear turned to face east, the direction where the sun always used to come up. He sat down. Little Brown Squirrel sat down beside him. All that night they did not sleep. All that night Bear kept saying these words. "The sun will not come up. The sun will not come up." But as the night went on, Little Brown Squirrel began to say something too. He said these words. "The sun is going to rise. The sun is going to rise." All through the night, they sat there. One by one, other animals gathered around them. Fox and wolf, deer and moose, rabbit and porcupine, hawk and owl, otter and beaver, frog and turtle, and even the little mice came. They wanted to see who would be right, Bear or Brown Squirrel. This is what the other animals heard. "The sun will not come up. Humph. The sun is going to rise. The sun will not come up. Humph. The sun is going to rise." Finally, it was just before dawn, the time when the sun always used to come up. "Look," said Turtle, "a little bit of red is starting to show." "Yes," said Owl, "I believe the sun will rise today." Bear only chanted louder. "The sun will not come up. Humph." But right next to him, Little Brown Squirrel piped up. "The sun is going to rise." And the sun came up. The birds sang their welcoming songs. The bright light of a new day spread over the land. Everyone was happy except for one animal. That animal was Bear. He sat there with his head down and a grumpy look on his face. The happiest animal of all was Little Brown Squirrel. "The sun came up," he chirped. "The sun came up, the sun came up, the sun came up." Brown Squirrel was so happy he forgot what his wise old grandmother had told him when he was very young. Brown Squirrel, his grandmother had said, it is good to be right about something, but when someone else is wrong, it is not a good idea to tease him. Now little Brown Squirrel began to tease Bear. Bear is foolish, the sun came up. Bear is silly, the sun came up. Bear is stupid, the sun... Whomp! Bear's big paw came down on little Brown Squirrel, pinning him to the ground. Bear leaned over and opened his huge mouth. Yes, Bear growled, the sun did come up. Yes, I do look foolish, but you will not live to see another sunrise. You will not ever tease anyone again, because I, Bear, am going to eat you. Brown Squirrel thought fast. You are right to eat me, he said. I was wrong to tease you. I would like to say I'm sorry before you eat me, but you are pressing down on me so hard that I cannot say anything. I cannot say anything at all. I cannot even breathe. If you would lift up your paw just a little bit, then I could take a deep breath and apologize before you eat me. That is a good idea, Bear said. I would like to hear you apologize before I eat you. So Bear lifted up his paw, but instead of apologizing, Brown Squirrel ran. He ran as fast as he could toward the pile of stones where he had his home. He had a tunnel under those stones and a nice warm burrow deep underground. Little Brown Squirrel's grandmother stood there in the door waiting for him. Hurry, Brown Squirrel, she called. Hurry, hurry! Little Brown Squirrel dove for the door to his home, but Bear was faster than he looked. He grabbed for Little Brown Squirrel with his big paw. Bear's long, sharp claws scratched Brown Squirrel's back from the top of his head to the tip of his tail. But Brown Squirrel got away, deep down in his burrow, where Bear couldn't get to him. Brown Squirrel curled up next to his grandmother and slept all winter, while those scratches on his back healed. When spring came again, Little Brown Squirrel came out of his hole and looked at himself. There were long pale stripes all the way down his back where Bear had scratched him. He was Brown Squirrel no more. He was now Chipmunk, the striped one. That is how Chipmunk got his stripes. Ever since then, Chipmunk has been the first animal to get up every morning. As the sun rises, he scoots to the top of the tallest tree to sing his song. The sun came up, the sun came up, the sun came up. And ever since then, Bear has been the last animal to get up. He doesn't like to hear Chipmunk's song. It reminds him, as it reminds all of us, that no one, not even Bear, can do anything. The end. All right, so this is a baby squirrel. She's not quite as old as Little Brown Squirrel, who was in our story that was running around, but she is about 5 weeks old. She has recently opened her eyes. So when baby squirrels are born, their eyes are closed and their ears are lying down flat. So her ears are starting to pull away from her body, and that means that she is starting to hear. And so she's starting to hear and see. And you can see that she has, oh, she's going to turn around. She's like, don't look at my tail. So she has a long tail. And one of the things you can tell about squirrels, as they get older and as they're growing, their tail gets bushier. And eventually, you've probably seen squirrels where they've been sitting up and their tail kind of curls up and around. And her tail has not started doing that yet, but as she gets older, it will do that. And she will be able to climb and walk around a little bit better. So at this stage in her life, well, she's doing a pretty good job getting up here. At this stage in her life, she's still a little bit wobbly. but she's improving and she's practicing. And so she's smelling my hand. These baby squirrels still get bottles and formula, although they are starting to eat some big kid food. And in their case, big kid food is they've been eating some sweet potatoes, and this morning they had some baby food carrots. And so they're going to start eating some vegetables, and we will bring in some branches from the fruit trees that they can eat. And so, so this is the little girl squirrel, and she has a buddy. They are not brother and sister. They came from separate litters. Tangled in the towel. So, there we go. He's a little bit older, maybe a week or two older. You can tell that his tail is a little bit fluffier. And, whoa, we don't want you to fall, little squirrel. And so, he's a little bit bigger than she is. And so, and he's not, she was just climbing right up my body. He is not quite as used to me. He came into our center just this past week, actually. And so he's more like a human being. What are you doing? And, you know, why are you picking me up and talking about me? But he is still on a bottle, and he is still learning to eat foods. You can see his ears are out a little bit more, so he hears better. His eyes are open, so he's seeing, but he is doing the same thing. And so pretty soon they will be going into a bigger cage with some branches and things, and that's what they will be doing, is learning how to climb and learning how to be squirrels. So these squirrels will, in a few weeks, when they're big enough and they have some skills, they will be released out in a wooded area with lots of nut trees and fruits, wild fruits and things, so that they can live the life that they are supposed to live. Okay, I hope you liked the story of Little Brown Squirrel. It is one of my very favorites. Today for our activity, we are going to make a feeder for the wild squirrels in your neighborhood. This feeder is also nice for larger birds who like nuts, such as the woodpeckers. What you need is a pine cone. I have a string on mine so I can hang it up in a tree. I also have a spoon and a jar of peanut butter and a bowl of nuts mixed with dried fruit. So this is mostly peanuts. It also has almonds, pumpkin seeds, raisins, and cranberries in it. So all things that your squirrel friends will really enjoy. My peanut butter just happens to be creamy, but the squirrels would love the crunchy kind too. So the first step is we are going to spread peanut butter on the pine cone. So I have kind of a little spoon so that I could kind of move the peanut butter into the pine cone. I had another pine cone as well, so this is also a pine cone. As you see, this pine cone is much tighter together. When it was alive and hanging on the tree, it had not released its seeds yet, where this pine cone is a little bit more open and was releasing its seeds, but it makes kind of a nice shelf for us to put our peanut butter on. So I'm just going to spread the peanut butter around. The peanut butter is sticky, so that the nuts will stick to the pine cone. It's also sticky and will make our fingers sticky, but that's okay. We can wash our fingers, or we can just lick the peanut butter off. So squirrels
need lots of healthy food, especially during the winter. Squirrels don't hibernate in the winter, so they don't take a deep sleep like a bear. They just take a lot of shorter naps. They come out when there's a sunny day. So when the weather is a little bit nicer and it's not as rainy or as snowy, depending on where you live, they will come out and look for food and look for those stashes of food that they've hidden around. So this is the perfect winter present for your squirrel friends because it gives them a nice treat when they need some extra food. All right, so after we get peanut butter around the pine cone, then you are just going to roll it in your nuts. See how I'm kind of rolling mine around, and I think I'm going to pick up some nuts and kind of press them down and say, "Stay here, nuts." And so some of them are falling off, but that's all right. So after you get your peanut butter around your pine cone, you roll it around in the nuts, and it's going to look like this. And so now I can just use my string, and I can go hang it from a tree. And so I am doing a big help for my squirrel friends, and birds like the blue jays and the woodpeckers that also like big nuts will enjoy this also. So it's great. And if you put it somewhere where you can see it from a window in your house, then you can kind of spy on the birds and the squirrels and find out who's eating your present. I enjoyed spending part of my day with you. I will have more stories and more animal friends to share. So hit the subscribe button and the little bell so that you'll be notified when more videos come out. Now, I want you to run around like a squirrel, wiggle your bushy tail, climb a tree, and have a great day. Thank you.